In this lesson, we're going to talk about congruence transformations. There are three basic kinds of transformations that we're going to learn how to identify. The first one is a reflection. Another name for reflection is a flip. It's basically all that is just taking your object and flipping it over a line that's called the line of reflection. Okay, when we have that, then it's almost like looking at a mirror image of well, not almost. It is exactly like looking at a mirror image of itself, and every single point on the original image and the reflected image are the same distance from the line of reflection. The second congruence transformation, or the second transformation that we're talking about, is a translation. Another name for translation is a slide. And basically, as the name implies, you just take your object and you slide it to a different part on the plane. All right, and it moves every single point on that object. All right, and then the last transformation is a rotation, and a rotation is just simply around a turn, or is just simply a turn around a fixed point called the center of rotation. Oftentimes, with what we're working on, our center of rotation is going to be the origin on a coordinate plane. All right, and a lot of times we will say that it's a specific angle rotation in a specific direction, like clockwise or counterclockwise. And it would, most of the time, it would be like a 90 or 100 degree rotation. All right, sometimes it's something different than that, but and you would specify whether it's a rotation clockwise or counterclockwise. All right, and every point on both images are the same distance from the center. Okay, so let's do several examples. First of all, before we do examples, go ahead and copy these three concepts down in your notes. All right, so for this, it says identify the transformation between the two figures. Well, so you can see that it's not just a slide, because it's not oriented the same way, and it's not a reflection because once again it's not oriented the same way. So we suspect that it's a rotation, and the easy way of checking that is just simply if I go ahead and roughly draw or trace that, and then take it, okay, take it out like that. That's a very rough drawing, and I rotate it like this, then we can see that it's going to match for the motor. It's going to match roughly the reflected image, or the secondary, the red image. Okay, so if you noticed that this is it's a rotation. Okay, so it's a rotation, and when we're talking about the direction, this would actually be a counterclockwise, because you rotate to the left, and you rotate it 90 degrees, 90 degrees counterclockwise. Okay. All right. The next one. This one is you just took the FGT or FGY, and you just slid it to the right. Okay. So this is a slide or a translation. Okay. And you translate it. You pick one point, So we're going to pick this point G, and we slid it 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 spaces to the right and 1 space down. So it's a translation, 4 spaces to the right and 1 space down. If you count, look at all the other vertices, you can see that that's the same with that. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 space down. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 space down. So every point on the original image is translated 4 spaces to the right and 1 space down. All right. Once again, this one you can tell is just translated, and if we go from the black, translate the black image to the red image, so we go 1 space up and 1 space to the right. All right. 1 space up, 1 space to the right on every single vertex. So this again is a translation. Right. This one now, this one looks sort of like a translation, except that the shapes are not oriented in the same direction. Okay, so if we look at this x-axis here, okay, and we look at the points, point C here is 1 space above the x-axis. Point C here is 1 space below. All right, J is 1 space above, goes down to 1 space below from the black image to the red image. Okay, for the black image, M is 2 spaces below, and it moves to 2 spaces above, and K is 1, 2, 3, 4, and it moves to 4 spaces above. So this is a reflection. Okay, if you look here, this you can see here. There's this little mark there beside the K and beside all the vertices of the red image. That's referred to as a K prime. That's a prime mark. So we have K to K prime, J to J prime, M to M prime, and C to C prime. Okay. This transformation here looks like a rotation. Okay. So it's a rotation, and if we look here, this is the original image. This is your prime image or your copy. Okay, so if I copy, okay, that's not going to be perfect, but it'll do. And then if we take it, we select it, okay, and then we can rotate it. It looks like 90 degrees to the right, okay, or 90 degrees clockwise. Okay, if you go to the right, it is referred to as clockwise. All right, and the last example we have is, once again, this is just translated around the x-axis, and it is a reflection across the x-axis. All right. So that does it for this lesson. All right. And if you have any questions, make sure you ask, and we'll talk to y'all later on.